Right now in our Abuja Network Center, we shall continue the discussion on the implication of microzoning, the leadership of the National Assembly. And this time around, I have Comrade Sadiq Jikta. He is DG Fusion 774 Nigeria and also a political analyst. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So this is a direct question. What is the implication of microzoning, the leadership of the National Assembly, to you?
Yes, microzoning may not be accepted by some political group, but Nigerian system has its positive implication because the party sponsored these candidates and they would like to be involved in the leadership of the National Assembly. So it has its positive side and it has its negative side. The positive side is if the party interfere in this micro zoning, it gives that cohesion for the party and it's helped the party to really administer its incoming administration, and there will be that good relationship, that harmonious relationship between the National Assembly and the executive arm of government, the legislative and the executive arm of government. So the negative side is there will be those legislatures that will be agitated, who will not like it, and they may kick against it and they may walk towards, and the disadvantage is in the long run the minority opposition may end up taking over the leadership of the House. So just like we have seen before during the 8th Assembly, yes, during the time of, we saw what played out during Bukola Saraki saga. So these are the disadvantages that microzoning could cause. But
okay, you talk about cohesion as
yes,
the positive side of this microzoning.
yes.
Would you say it is still a positive side when a certain region gets a larger chunk of the leadership as it is being zoned now?
The idea is to...
What is the positivity in this?
So the idea is to balance the leadership structure based on how Nigeria is designed to work, based on our federal character system. So it is this system that we are trying to imbibe so that every region can have that sense of belonging. So if it is not well balanced, that's when there were outcry. There will be outcry.
In this case, it is not, because Northwest, for instance,
yes,
what has played out is that the Northwest gets to be Deputy Senate President, and the Northwest also gets the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Meanwhile, the North Central gets nothing. So,
you see, the party being the mother of all, see, in their wisdom, they have reason for doing that. If you go back to the last election that we had, you realize that the Northwest gave the large part of the vote from the North to the presidency, for example. So it is, you know, they see it as, since they gave that large vote, they deserve also to be considered. I think the party, in their wisdom, too, saw that, okay, since it is like this, why not we, you know, do it in a way that they will feel, you know, adequately carried along. Yes.
In the wisdom of votes, highest votes from a certain region.
Yes.
So what happened between North Central and Southeast? Because at the end of the day,
yes,
Southeast got in.
No, if you look at the zoning system, Southeast too, I think they are also carried along.
Exactly,
But
that's
it's
what I'm
just
saying.
that they are not
So
satisfied
if we're
with
going to look at it,
balancing.
yes, if you're going to look at it based on
Yes.
the number of votes
Yes.
shown out
Yes.
by the zone, we all know that Southeast didn't do much
Yes.
compared to North Central. So how does that pan out?
You
That
see,
Southeast is being captured and North Central is out.
You see, since they are part of Nigeria, it doesn't mean if you don't give a large number of votes, you will not be carried along. But that region that gives that number of votes also will be considered, above you based on the way our politics is played out. So the Northeast, the Southeast, we cannot say we cannot carry them along like that. We bring them in so that they too can feel the sense of belonging because they are part of Nigeria too. And we have also the party members from that region. So we don't generalize, but the party believe in their wisdom. It is the way to go. So even though, you see, all these things that we are saying, you remember there is disagreement in the National Assembly itself. Yesterday, the House of Representatives Deputy Speaker was in the headquarters of the APC, asking the party to rescind its decision.
Yeah.
So these are the type of outcry we see and disagreement if we are not careful, because then it is all this that we are saying, it is during when the 10th Assembly will convene and they want to take their leader, that is when the real politicking will play out. Now, it could fall against the party, the zoning system, because there are a lot who don't agree with the zoning system, like the members that went to the National Working Committee of the party yesterday. You see? So this type will cause some kind of division or some kind of caucus in the House where opposition, as I've said earlier, if care is not taken, it may play out that opposition will take the day in the wrong ground. That's why while they are zoning, they have to be very, very careful. It is about negotiating. It's about calling them to the round table to discuss and for them to see reason why the zoning was introduced by the party. But if you just come out to say, we have zoned it to so place, and you don't give adequate reason for this zoning, of course, the members will not feel comfortable. And that's why the party need to carry everybody along. You need to bring them to the round table and really give them reason why they need to agree with the decision of the party, because the decision of the party is supreme to every decision, because it is on the shoulder of the party that we ride to whatever position that we get to. So I will say that while the party is zoning, the party too should be very careful about how the National Assembly members are carried along in this very venture, so that they don't, some of the party members may decide to go in the way of the opposition, which will not augur well for the party. So the party have to, call every aggrieved member, to the round table and discuss the issue out before it is the time before the convergence of the 10th Assembly.
When you say the decision of the party is supreme, what happens to the constitution that gives the National Assembly the powers to elect for itself?
So we are talking about party decision this time. Of course, that is why I said, listen, that is why I said the final decision will be at the National Assembly, because it is the constitution that will play out in the National Assembly. That's why they have to trade with caution, I have said earlier. The party is supreme to the members, but the constitution is supreme to all of us. Because the National Assembly, all the political parties are represented in the National Assembly, and everybody have the right to vote. It's all, they unanimously choose their leaders through lobbying and consultations. So the constitution, which is supreme to all, will now play out in the National Assembly. That is why you see some of the members don't agree with the decision of the party because it's not the final.
Because they know there's a window.
Exactly. And then in the National Assembly, then the Constitution will now come up. That's when the supremacy of the Constitution will come up, and that's when they will play the in-house politics of the National Assembly.
Looking at this party decision, party supremacy has not always paid off when it comes to who becomes the leader in the national, who becomes the leader of the National Assembly. For instance, like you rightly said, in the 8th Assembly, there were anointed candidates by the party. At the end of the day, members choose who they want to lead them. Should the party continue in this path? Especially this time around where certain names were actually penned down for this. Should the party continue down this path?
It's actually very dangerous for the party because this aggrieved member of the National Assembly, if they so disagree and by the time they convene and it's due for the elections, the in-house elections, and it didn't go in favor of the party, you see, they will not have a very smooth relationship with the National Assembly.
Wouldn't that not be good for Nigerians? When the executive and the legislature is not in bed together.
It will not be good for Nigerians. Because
why?
If the executive and the National Assembly are not in good relationship, a lot of good laws that should have benefit Nigeria, they will be turning it down, because they are not in. Because you see, there's one attitude of the National Assembly which I actually am not comfortable with. You see, if they have that disagreement with, if the executive have a disagreement with the National Assembly, so you see them, like antagonizing each other to the detriment of Nigeria. They forget that they are representing Nigerians. Then they will start, antagonizing themselves. So who is losing? The Nigerians that have voted them in to represent them. Now they have forgotten about their primary responsibility to represent Nigeria.
Now the
interest, exactly. That is it. So then the interest, their own personal interest, comes in now, forgetting the primary interest, which is the generality of interest of generality of Nigerians.
It is in the best interest of Nigerians when the two arms of government
in good together in relationship. And that does not mean that they will not do the right thing. I will give you example of this current assembly. There are some Nigerians, call this present National Assembly like this as a rubber stamp National Assembly. That's what they target. But it's not true, because even as they said it's a rubber stamp assembly, but they still have this disagreement between the executive and the National Assembly. I've said here in this studio before, there are times where the National Assembly and the executive are not in good relationship. There are some bills, some laws that was passed by the National Assembly which requires presidential assent. Which suffers setback. Exactly. So, and executive bills too that goes to the National Assembly, they hold it back, they don't pass it through. You see, it's not just automatic sometimes, because they in the National Assembly are looking at the interest of Nigerians. And that is why sometimes they may feel that this this executive act or executive law that is coming from the executive is not good for Nigerians, and that's when they put it down. So it's not just a smooth ride like that, even if we call it a rubber stamp. But it is better, it controls that disagreement. By the time they have a harmonious relationship, it goes to some extent to really work out. But if there's not that relationship, for instance, you need to have like all the bills passed to the National Assembly should be like 70% pass through all stages. But you will see that we may not have that 70% that should have passed. Maybe you see 40, 45, 50%. So that 20% is lost because of lack of good relationship with the legislative house and the executive body. So we expect that there should be that cohesion between them, so that there could be that harmonious relationship which brings advantage to both parties. To be like a win-win for the both. That's what we are looking at. Yes.
You know, in the 9th Assembly, the party actually guided the National Assembly on the pattern and the path to go in terms of electing who becomes the Senate President and the Speaker. Even though there were speculations that so-so and so-so person is the chosen one, but there, you could see there was, it was democratically done, that there was actually a contest. And so far, this is what brought about this cordial relationship that we are talking about between the 9th Assembly and the executive. So one would have thought that the party would toe the same line instead of, instead of microzoning the leadership and also selecting individuals. What I mean by actually mentioning names. Why do you think the party decided to go a step further and choose individuals that the party feel that these are the persons that should be presiding officers?
Should I tell you my candid opinion?
Yes.
My
sure.
honest and candid opinion is there are separate arm of government, and every arm of government should be allowed to work independently. I don't support the executive arm trying to influence the leadership of the National Assembly. A party. I don't support. Yes, I don't support party coming into like taking decision for the National Assembly, even though it is the practice here in Nigeria. It is part of us, and we must have to embrace it as it is and play it along. But in other democracy, party don't fully like intervene in the legislative leadership, you know. And here in Nigeria, because there is how we play our politics, and there's this zoning issue, which it is felt that every region have to be represented, and that's why the party, since it is the party that manage all the political activity, must have to say create a kind of what I would say balancing censorship. It's kind of balancing the leadership, so that, you know, if you leave it like that, some very powerful members of the National Assembly, one region can occupy everywhere if they are very powerful, you know. And that is why it is zoned, so that the powerful ones will not like take over those weak regions. So it will be a kind of balance. But you know, we can't satisfy, we can't get it 100% correct, and that's why you see the politicking playing out. But them in the National Assembly, if you see the body language, you will see that they don't like the way the party is too much like overbearing influence, having overbearing influence on the National Assembly. That is what they want to avoid. But I tell you, they should go the way of the party, so that there will be harmony. But their body language shows that they will not agree with what the party is doing.
Is now, how do you think there will be harmony when we have Northwest taking the Deputy Senate President and the Speakership?
You see,
how can there be harmony?
This didn't come up like that. The wisdom of the party, they have to sit down and to look at, they have the reason. And if they don't really come out on a round table through consultation to let the members of the National Assembly see reason why this is like that, because I believe there's...
I doubt if there was such conversation, because if there was, the rest of the aspirants and their followers would not be crying, we would not be
Yes,
crying
the party as a party sat down to bring out this design. But another thing, their work have not finished there. Okay. That's why I said there should be adequate consultations with the members of the National Assembly. You can't just come impose on me and say I accept. Give me reason why I should agree with that. I think that is it's not well enough. They haven't done that consultations adequately. So I expect that they should do more consultation before it is time. Otherwise, you see, we have other opposition party like the PDP and the LP.
And they are quite a lot. Because
exactly.
if you put them together,
Exactly.
if you put the PDP, the LP, the ADC, the SDP, the NNPP, the YP, if you put them together, they are greater majority.
If you put the both together?
Yes, the opposition parties together, if they come together.
No, I don't think so. The number have skipped my memory, but I tried to look at that. It's close, but it didn't match up like that. Oh, okay. You're talking about the House of Representatives. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm talking about the Senate.
Let's take, for example, the House of Representatives.
Thank you.
When you put these parties together, they are a greater majority.
So that is why the party, the APC, have to be very careful in managing this very situation. Otherwise, if the opposition party can come up, mobilize themselves, you see, it will not go well for the winning party, the APC. So that is why I'm saying they should do a very serious consultation and, you know, give reason why the members of the party who are in the National Assembly should agree with the zoning system of the party. Because in the long run, everybody must have to obey the rule of the party. Otherwise, you will be termed as somebody who is not obedient to
You know, when you say everybody must have to obey,
yeah,
because you know why I'm laughing? Because I don't see it playing out in the National
It's not
Assembly.
easy to play.
Because those people, when it comes to their leadership, it's a different ball game.
That is it. Once they are in the National Assembly, once they step into the they convene in the National Assembly, I tell you, it's a different thing that will happen.
Okay, but there's also this school of thought that after May 29,
yes,
that everything will take shape. That all this hue and cry is just happening for now. But after May 29, that is after inauguration, when the president-elect must have assumed office, that we will be seeing a different scenario altogether. Do you agree with that?
I don't completely agree with that. Yes, because by the time it have its effect, it had its positive side, and it also have the other side. Yes, thank you very much. So that is where I say there should be serious consultation. By the time it comes, yes, it can make a lot of impact, because by the time the president weighed in, now it is at the level of the party. Even though I think there is this
consult. But you don't think it will be at the level of the party without the input of either the sitting president or the president-elect? Is that possible?
Yeah, it is possible. There's that input, no doubt. We don't wave that away. But by the time the president-elect is sworn in, it gives another power to the president to lobby them. If the president can, like, consult them by himself, there's that respect that the president carries, where he will call you one-on-one, say, please, this is what this is the reason why it is zoned like this, and this is why you have to agree with the party. Nigerians obey, they respect their presidents. By the time the president called them face to face, have some meeting with them and give them reason why they should go the way of the party, I think it will make a good impact on them.
But should this stay? Where is the place of fairness?
This is politics.
So you are telling me that in politics, not all is fair?
Not all is fair.
In politics,
really.
Whatever you see, you take as your laws.
That is why there is the political. That's why it is called politics. It's the smart ones that take it. If you like.
All right. As my final question before I let you go, okay. I want to ask you: are we going to see a time when the legislature will actually elect its leaders based on competence, not either majority or minority party? Is this ever going to happen?
Yes, it's going to happen in Nigeria. I believe so. And that saying that says there's no condition that is permanent, I so believe in that, because it will come a time when the National Assembly will be very independent. Our democracy is still maturing. We are learning every day.
Like this, our democracy will never be mature.
It will mature.
It's always maturing every...
The next generation will learn and how standards of democracy. We aspire to become among the high standard democracy in the world. It will continue like this. And you see, the disagreement of the members of the National Assembly is a sign that they want their independence. They want to do their thing their own way. And if it continues like this, in the long run, the party or whoever will feel that it's not the right thing to do. Like what happened in the 8th Assembly. You see, that's a lesson. And we'll continue to see lessons in the future that will warrant that the party in the long run will hands off completely. Otherwise, it will, it will come a scenario where the party would just feel like maybe the voting pattern at that time, the party would just feel like, let's leave these people to do their thing their own way. And maybe that may work well for the party. So I don't see it as, continuing as a practice in Nigeria, since it is not very generally acceptable practice. So it is a practice that we are managing at the moment, but in the long run we will balance it to be adopt the best system the way it is done.
Well, hopefully a time will come where we will see a legislature where the speaker, the deputy speaker, or every other principal officer will come on board based on competence and not just because he or she is from a majority or a minority party. This is what Comrade Sadiq Jikta...
yes, and another clearance is it is always the winning party, that you always take the leadership of the National Assembly.
Yes, that's what I said. I want to see a situation whereby it shouldn't be like that.
But why?
For the sake of democracy.
Yes, but our own is peculiar. You know why? Because we zone, that zoning thing that comes in, that is where the disagreement comes in. And as long as we continue to zone and microzone, then we will continue to be playing it like that, so that all the other... You see, we are maturing. Even this, I believe in the long run, this, what is it called, federal character system. In the long run, we will keep it aside, face it out. Because then would have been matured, leaders will be taken based on ability to perform, competence. We'll be looking at competence rather than you are from this region, you are from the other region, you are from this religion, you are from the other religion.
All right, thank you very much for being part of the program. We have been discussing microzoning of the National Assembly leadership by the All Progressive Congress, and it's been a wonderful time with Comrade Sadiq Jikta. He has done justice to this particular issue. Thank you very much. We hope to see you some other time. So